ready, my friend. What is going on, internet land? My name is Xcala, and I got it right. I got it right.
Yep.
This is Flannel Go Sacco. How you doing, my friend?
Hello, Xcala. I am doing great. Everything is fantastic. But I still have goosebumps from last week's interview and show. I loved it so much. I went back a few times and watched it. I loved it.
It was a great show. I'm loving this new format. For those that are brand new tuning into with us tonight, we've been doing a lot more advertising, trying to get this show out to a lot more people. Look at these beautiful upgrades. Let's see if I can get it right. Nope. Look at those beautiful upgrades up there. There we go. Saber Rattle, Kyber Cave. What is
Yep.
up, Chris? Good to see you, sir.
Hey, Chris, how you doing? Yep. And he actually wants to
Chris,
know when the cosplay store across the street's gonna open up.
is it open yet?
No, he said like 1 more week.
One more week. Oh, we were told this week. So, for those of you that are coming down to the Kyber Cave, it's super exciting. There is a brand new cosplay store opening up across the street, and we are all very excited about it. This is like high end cosplay. Paul, what is going on? Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate
Paul,
you
our lead for D&D, what is up?
here. Yeah, and for those of you that are interested in Dungeons and Dragons, we have that tomorrow night from 4 to 6. We
Yep.
also have just started a game night, card night. So if you're into like Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon, that is during the same exact time as the battles from 7 to 9 p.m. So
All
if you want to
right.
be in the battles or get into cards, you can do that. And guess what we got going on tonight, Flannel?
Oh my God, we have a lot of stuff going on. We have the show of the flow. We have our special guest. And also our cosplay of the day.
Yeah. Yes. Well, I kind of meant in the store, but that's all right. They are doing the HEMA Club meets every Friday night.
Oh, okay.
Is a special night for the HEMA Club.
Ooh, a special night.
Do you know what they're doing? Did they tell you?
No, I'm not.
We're doing battles in the dark tonight.
Woo!
Yeah, baby.
So exciting. I love when that happens. Like, it's just glow sticks being brought on in the dark, and you never know what happens because everybody's in the dark. We actually should have a Saturday night battle in the dark. You know, having the glow sticks and everybody wearing like the glow stick necklaces and also bracelets. I would love that.
Yes, yes. And I'm starting to see the cons come back around. I'm starting to see some of the leagues battling too. So I'm hoping that we can get that going very soon. Paul says session 4 is tomorrow, and we did put ads out on our Kyber Cave page. So make sure to check out Facebook / Kyber Cave to find
Kyber
out
Cave,
more
yeah.
information about that.
Yeah, I'm really excited about what's coming new, and also, and I recall yesterday our new tech person just came last night.
Yes, I'm very excited about that too. You can now have etching done here, full installed NeoPixel, anything you want. We can now take care here at Cyber Cave. Paint jobs, powder coating. We can do all of that now. This new tech is very, very exciting, and he's going to be teaching us a lot of new skills as well. That is Mr. Don Patry of Dark Side Sabers, who is now a Kyber Cave employee.
Oh yes, I am so excited, Don. If you're watching this, I cannot wait to work with you, get to know you better. I'm really excited.
That is fantastic. Hey, before we get going too much here, I think we should check out that flow of the show, man.
Oh yeah,
Why don't you
we should.
So for those that are brand new, this is a brand new segment we just started last week. It's called Flow of the Show. It's produced by Mr. James Kiser, aka Darth Cephalus. And this week we're going to be seeing a flow from James himself. In future shows, you're going to see a variety of different flow artists. But as we get going, as he is starting to book artists, we've got a couple of flows for James. So why don't you go ahead and roll that tape, my friend?
All right, here it comes. Check it out. Oh yeah.
That was fantastic. That
Oh
was Mr. James Kiser, aka Darth Cephalus.
yeah, James. I love your work, man. And I was really like the way he flew. Like, what was that little ball thing that he had
I
on
think
his
that's called a ploy ball, I believe.
a floy
Like
ball?
in Hawaiian, they'll light those things in Hawaii. They'll light those things on fire and spin them around like that.
Yeah, like that's something I never seen before. So that was something new and exciting for me to watch. Like you see
And
something. Yep. Oh,
right,
hey Don, how you doing?
the tech is in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and it's all interrelated. James was explaining to me that a lot of the artists that do they that train on staff or train on poi will come over to lightsaber because it's the new fun thing. And by the way, I wanted to say, hey, what's up, Colin? I wanted to say, Chris, thank you
Colin.
very much for supporting us. I saw your message while the flow was going. We love having your support, Chris. We just wish you were here in the store more often. That would
Yeah. Like he's excited about being here and also about the cosplay store that's opening across the street. Yeah.
right. Well, I know as soon as they get going across the street, we're gonna plan that con. I think I want to
Yep.
do the Spider-Verse con first, and then we'll do Kyber con too. So the goal is to have two little cons by at least by June.
Yes. Make sure there's a Deadpool con too.
Yeah, a Deadpool con. Well, I thought Deadpool was part of the Spider-Verse. I thought Deadpool and Spider-Man were homies.
No, he's the anti-hero and also the anti-villain. I'm not
A
saying
poodle
he's a
con.
hero or a villain. I'm not saying he's either both. He's neither.
Right. Well, we've got something for everybody. Whatever cosplay you're into, the guy across the street does high tech cosplay. So, like, he told me he makes Gambit playing cards that you could throw and they explode. He makes a Miles Morales suit that has a proximity sensor so that it has spider senses. If somebody's coming up behind you, it'll actually vibrate on you. So
Like, who's there?
we're hoping to have Kenya, the gentleman who owns the store's name is Kenya. We're hoping to have him on as a guest at some point on this show.
Oh yeah,
Speaking of
hopefully.
which, is our guest backstage?
Oh yes, our guest is backstage right now. I see him right there.
Oh yeah, it's time to get it going then. Ladies and gentlemen, I am super excited about this interview that we have coming up right now. It is a gentleman, I just met him just over a month ago.
All right.
He is the owner of Texas Custom Sabers. He's been doing this for a while, and this guy is actually a professor that teaches the CNC machines that you use to make sabers. So, really, you're not going to get a higher quality saber than from a professor of lightsabers.
Definitely, yes.
So with no further ado, Mr. Flannel Go, would you please bring on Mr. Rey of Texas Custom Sabers?
Hey, what's up,
Hey,
everybody?
man, you're looking all relaxed over there. You look like you should have a martini in your hand or something. That's how I know you're prepared for the interview.
Right. That's right. That's how we do it. It's how we do it here in Texas. In Texas, you're never far from three things: a gun, barbecue, or a beer.
and many times all at the same time, huh?
All at the same time. But we actually have things called barbecue guns here in the state of Texas. It's an actual thing. So you wear your fancy gun to the family barbecue. It's the fanciest gun you wear, and you wear there like on an ostrich skin leather holster or something.
Right.
And that's how you do it.
Anybody open carrying lightsabers out there?
I do it all the time. I wear my Star Killer on my belt when I'm at school most days.
Oh yeah. Well, let's get right into it because I want to talk a little bit about that Star Killer. That one is one of the ones that you're really known for, isn't it?
Yes. Our mini Star Killer is the one that we're known the most for because we make the whole thing in house. There's a couple videos out there of people trying to destroy them on YouTube. My video is out there on YouTube, and I think it's on Vader's Vault's page. If you pull up the Vader Vault page, you can actually go in there and watch me beat a 7/8 blade Star Killer against a dumpster until I broke the blade off.
Wow. And did you tell me like your sabers, like somebody like drove over it with a truck or something, like they're like
Yeah,
virtually indestructible?
yeah. They're we make our lightsabers from the highest end aluminum that we can find. They're not, they're not cheap pot metal aluminum like some of the imported lightsabers. I'm not saying that they're a bad lightsaber. I'm just saying they don't use the greatest materials all the time. That's why
Right.
you have some lightsabers that, like the thin neck lightsabers, that the neck tends to break off. It's because they're using cheaper aluminum products.
Right. Now, Texas Custom Sabers, these sabers are made 100% in the United States. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct. They're made 100% in the United States on using American aluminum on American machines.
That's fantastic. I bet you get a lot of customers that come to you just because of that.
Oh yeah, yeah. We're all about keeping keeping it all American. I know that's not the popular thing lately, and but not getting into politics or anything. But I'm a first generation American, and I love this country, and I love everything that this country's done for me. I went from the low man on the totem pole, growing up without a lot of money, to a college professor, and I owe it all to this great country.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I was mentioning that you were a college professor. That's in fact how I met you. Is we just recently bought a CNC machine from you, and we had the honor of coming out and getting to train with you. And what was
Yes.
fantastic is that this gentleman actually teaches the machines that make your saber, so you really cannot get a higher quality saber on the market. The man is a professor.
Yeah, it's
So
funny you said that. When my first semester that I was teaching at the school, I actually had a student walk in and sits down. So I go through my whole introduction spiel, and he raises his hand, and I was like, yeah, what's up? And he goes, wait a minute, you're Rey Flete, and I'm like, yes. He goes, Rey Flete that owns Texas Custom Sabers. I was like, yes. And he goes, I ran into you at a Comic-Con like 2 years ago, and you were talking about how you make your own lightsabers and how you went to school to learn it. And so I wanted to take classes to learn how to make lightsabers, how to turn stuff on a lathe. Little did I know that the guy that was telling me how he does it is actually the one that's going to be teaching me. And he literally stands up in class and he goes, "This guy is the reason I'm here, and he's actually my teacher. This is the greatest moment of my life." And I was like, "Oh my God, bless your heart."
wow, did you get all goosebumpy? Did you get all
I did,
goose?
man. I was like, I'm a little like slow rolly tear came out of the corner of my eye, like right here,
That's got to be an amazing feeling. So why don't you tell me how did you get started into making sabers? Of course, with these CNC machines, you can make anything you want in the world. But how did you land on sabers?
So a couple years ago, I had bought a couple sabers from. I'm not going to mention the company, but I had bought a couple sabers, and my daughters just went to work on them and broke them within, I don't know, like an hour's time, and they were done. So I ended up calling the company, and I ended up their customer service was subpar, to say the least, and the owner was very disparaging with me because of my military service, and
Mm,
so he just wrote me off, and so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna rebuild these things myself. So I ended up building them myself and made a couple more sabers here and there for family and friends, and people really like them, and it took off. So I was like, you know what, let's just make a couple sabers. And so I went out and I like scrounged together a bunch of vintage Graflexes and just destroyed them, making them real vintage Graflex Lukes, and
right.
went to my first Comic-Con, and they were gone. They were all gone. I think I did some MHS sabers back then too, and I probably had about 15, 20 lightsabers, and I think we came home with like one at the end of the show.
Wow.
And I was
And
like,
that was your
let's
first
do this.
gig?
And I took all that money that I made and invested it, bought me some machines and everything else, and just started just turning them out, and then went to school. The school where I teach now, I went to school, and they let me run the CNC machines, and that's what I went there to do. And I was able to just come in at like 7 in the morning and stay there till 9 o'clock at night, and just churn out lightsabers, and kept putting that money away, and then eventually bought my own CNC machine. And then ironically, about 4 or 5 months after running that machine, the school came to me and was like, "Hey, we want you to teach at the school." And I was like, all right. So now I have all those machines that I can use, and so I didn't have any use for it, and that's where you and me met.
Right. You're like a kid at Toys R Us now. You got all the toys.
I do. I believe it or not, I just got $6.8 million added to my budget this year.
Wow.
So
That's only a testament to how good of a teacher you are. They wouldn't be giving you more money for machines if you weren't bringing them in.
Right. They asked me, what do you need to make this class better? And I said, money. And I thought I was only going to get, maybe 1 or 2 new machines, but no, they said, we want you to gut this whole place out and rebuild it all. And that's what we're doing. We're actually doing a whole new machine shop now. We're putting some super, super high speed 4 and 5 axis machines. Remember, we talked about that when you were at my shop. So I'm actually getting the newer machines that I've been wanting forever, and they're actually going to come and bring some people up to actually. Now I get to be the student again, like you were a couple weeks ago, and learn about these new machines.
Well, it's always, education is always ongoing, right?
Yes,
never stop.
Right, that's the one thing. They can take everything away from you, but your education.
Right. Now, Robert down here is asking, what branch of the service were you in?
I was in the Army. I was in the Army for 22 years.
Did anything you learn in the Army help you in this later career in life as a professor or as a saber maker?
Well, on the professor side, I was actually the senior instructor at the Combat Medic School at Fort Sam Houston. So I got to train and put out some of the best combat medics that the Army has seen in the last 15 years. And I loved all of my students. They were all great soldiers. And they all went out. Most of them all went to combat, and they did great things and brought their people home. So I have no regrets there. And as far as the lightsaber thing, got very good at fixing things, mechanical things. And so you're gonna find out really quick when you get that machine to your shop that when that thing goes down, you have to jump in there and get that thing running, because an idle machine is not making you money. Remember, I told you that.
This is true. So let me get this straight then. And then I'm going to jump to the side because I want to talk to something about your military that you had told me before. When you made your first lightsaber, you didn't even have a CNC machine, right?
No. It was all manual tools. I had a lathe and I had a mill. For the longest time, all my lightsabers were made on manual tooling. So I had to actually cut the threads manually.
Wow. So at that time, when you're doing everything by hand, how long would it take you, say, to produce one saber?
One saber, if I just sat down and knocked it out, it would take me about a day to make one saber.
By hand?
Yeah, by hand. It would take me a full day to make it by hand.
Even that's amazing. I thought it would take a couple of days.
No, but again, that's me starting at like 7 in the morning and working till about 9, 10 o'clock at night.
Right. Now I want to jump to the side because it's something that you told me that I found absolutely amazing. Has nothing to do with lightsabers, but you were telling me about your time in the Army and like how you just kept getting medal after medal. You want to tell people about that? About how you kept just saving people left and right? And
yeah, it was crazy. Like my last combat deployment, I was like a poop magnet. Like whenever something crazy happened, I was always right in the middle of it, even though I tried to avoid it at all costs. Because I was like, I'm gonna get my ticket punched here soon if I keep messing around. But it was funny. Every time something wild or crazy happened, I was right there in the middle. I got invited to the first annual Baghdad bass fishing tournament. Believe that. We were in Iraq, bass fishing in Iraq. And I was sitting there in the signing up, and they gave you a fishing pole and everything. As I'm sitting there signing my name up, I see a Humvee just below through an intersection, ricochet off a old, like a panel van, and then crash into 4 more Humvees. And oh my God. I just happened to be there. So I run over there, and people are freaking out and they're trying to drag the guys out, and they're all crumbled inside the Humvee. And I was like, stop. These guys could have neck and back injuries. And then so I ended up pretty much hijacking a military ambulance, bringing it over there, ripping the equipment out of it, and then extricating them the right way, and then taking them to the clinic. And the funny part is my company commander was at that same fishing tournament and watched the whole thing go down. So later on that week, I get called up to the head shed to the company, and they're like, "Well, here you go. How many medals is this? Is how many medals is this deployment?" I was like, "I don't know, like 4. Like, I don't know. Stop giving them to me."
Well, that's absolutely amazing. I want to thank you for your service, and I'm sure the all the people that you helped would like to thank you for your service as well.
Well, I appreciate it. I would do it all over again. Honestly, I'm paying for it now. I mean, you when you were down there, you saw me limping around. So, it's not the age, it's the mileage.
Right. But now you're in this different time period with Sabers. How long has custom Texas Sabers been around?
We've been around close to almost 7 years now, off and on, about 7 years. We weren't as big as we were. We weren't really big at the beginning, but the last 4 years we really made a big presence on the lightsaber scene. We've done Comic Cons all the way from Boston all the way to California. We've done Comic Cons coast to coast. We've been at a couple Comic Cons with Vader's Vault and stuff, and it's always interesting. I love Alan. He's a great guy. I know pretty much everybody in the lightsaber scene now, as far as the big guys.
Right. And do you have a particular favorite saber that you like to make?
Oh, the Star Killer for sure. The Mini SK.
Right.
If I produced 1 million of them a day, I would probably sell them at 1 million a day. Usually when I make them, they're gone within minutes.
What do you think makes because you're not the only person that makes a Star Killer, but why do people gravitate towards your Star Killer besides it being indestructible?
Well, one, it's indestructible. And the funny thing is, I don't know if you can see this, but I'm actually watching The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
So yeah, The Empire Strikes Back. I can watch. I'm seeing it out of the corner of my eye here. It's not that it's indestructible. That's true. But I think it's because we really did our research with that lightsaber. We went through we did the video game, we played the video game, we looked at the comic books, the Marvel comics and everything, and really looked at how the lightsaber looked in the character's hand. And so we constructed one. We constructed one using what everybody else did, using a Graflex 2.0 from Corbat, and constructed it, and then held it in our hand, and then you can realize how big it is in your hand. The Graflex is 1.5 inches at the bottom. I would say the battery cover, the little battery face thing on the bottom. That's 1.5 inches already. And so you add 1/8 inch brass rods or brass square stock to that, and now you have 1/8 of an inch on each side. That's another 1/4 of an inch. So you're looking at it's big. It's 1 3/4 of an inch at that point. So it's super big. So now you're holding it, and it's like that. So we were like, how do we reduce the size of this? And we reduce it down to 1 1/4 of an inch, and then you add the 1/4 of an inch, and so now you're back up to 1.5 inches. And I think 1.5 inches should be the maximum diameter of any lightsaber. I don't care what lightsaber you're making. If it's bigger than 1.5 inch, it starts looking like a baseball bat.
Right. And there's a company that we know that makes baseball bats.
Exactly. And they look goofy. Nobody wants to buy a lightsaber that's 16, 17 inches in diameter and 1 3/4 or in length and 1 3/4 inch in the diameter, because it looks like a giant baseball bat. And it's just one of those things that you have to scale it down, and that's why a lot of people love Vader's Vault Saber, because he was able to scale those lightsabers down and make them manageable and still manage to have enough room to put the electronics in. So shout out to Alan and Deanna. You guys have done a great job.
Right, and and they were last I heard they were sick with COVID too, so I hope they get better.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah. So do you have I hear you talking about Vader's bolts and stuff like that. Do you how is it with the saber companies when you go to shows? I mean, it doesn't sound like you and Amlin are like that, but I mean, do you feel some sense of competition when you see other saber companies at cons? Or
no, you know what? It's capitalism at its finest. He has a saber company. We have a saber company. I've met Alan. You know, he's a great guy, and you know, he does his thing and we do our thing, and you know, he makes money and we make money. You know, there are, you know, he makes a certain style of lightsaber, I make a certain style of lightsaber. All of our lightsabers are completely different, even though they share a lot of similar things. Like I know he makes a Revan, we make a Revan. He makes a Star Killer, we make a Star Killer. You know, we don't own these sabers by name, because if we started calling them that, the mouse would come and get us. So
Right.
you know, the mouse allows us to operate on the pretext that, one, we can't use copyrighted names and
Right.
advertise them as Disney products. You know, and then they leave us alone. You know, if we as Saber companies start getting into pissing arguments with each other online, or start suing each other, guess what's going to happen? They're going to step in and they're gonna pee in the pool for everybody.
Right, right. This is very true. So now let me ask you. So you were mentioning. Let's just talk about the Revan, right? You were talking about how Saber, how Vader Vault makes a Revan. You make a Revan. Why do you think? Do you do something different with your Revan? I mean, other than the quality and the strength of it, but if I were to put the two sabers side by side, are they going to look similar? Are they going to look different? Are there little touches that you do to your sabers that set you apart?
Yeah, like if you look at two Revens side by side, they're both going to be they're both not going to be identical. Vader Bolt, I believe, has a couple more grooves cut in their Revan than we do, and their handle is completely different, and their pommel is completely different, and that's how we keep everything different. Yes, they look alike. They work the same way, but they're slightly different. You know, that way people can, you know, will notice that it's not like, you know, I'm recasting Alan's stuff or Alan's recasting my stuff. They're completely different. I know Alan uses Fusion 360 to make his lightsabers, the same program I do. So, you know, if it ever came into question, you could actually put both drawings next to each other side by side and see that they're both actually different drawings.
Right, right.
Unlike some saber companies, and again, we're not going to mention who it is, that just outright just goes and copies people's lightsabers.
Right. Now, do you think that kind of stuff ever gets down to, say, the average consumer? There is a company, we're not names right now, but you know, they're getting slammed by they're getting slammed by other saber companies because of bad customer service and shady practices, and saying that they made something that somebody else makes.
Well, yeah, I've been following that, and it really is it really is bad form on that company. Especially when you are taking pictures from somebody else's websites and passing them off at yours. That's completely bad form. And you're I'm sorry, my nose, just allergies are terrible. You know, it's super bad form to pass off somebody else's product as yours. If you're a reseller and selling somebody else's products, that's fine. You know, most of the time when you're a reseller, the person that you're buying the product from is going to give you those pictures to use on your website or use in your media, however you want to use it. And that's one thing, but it's a completely different thing to steal somebody's pictures off of their website and put it on your website and pass it off as your product. But then again, when the end consumer gets that product and it's a completely different product and doesn't look anything like the pictures, then you know, and then you catch heat. Well, that's on you. You literally falsified everything to make yourself look like a better saber builder when you're not. You know, it goes by the same token as that the guy in Dallas that took, you know, $40-something thousand worth of people's sabers and parts and money and didn't turn out anything.
Right. Now, do you ever find yourself like, do you ever have a customer that comes to you and like, man, I want to buy a saber, but I got burned by this other guy and I don't know if I can trust you? Do you find that these things kind of trickle onto other companies?
Oh yeah, all the time. You know, you have to stay with the you have to do your homework. That's just the way it is. You have to look at the company. You have to look at the people in the company. You have to get on the Saber pages. Like I'm a moderator on quite a few Saber pages. And, if you search my name, it comes right up. And just do your homework. And if you're getting if your spidey senses are tingling, man, move on. Go to someplace else. Like you can send. I don't know if Alan still does it, but Vader's Vault used to install their electronics in other people's sabers. I don't think they do it anymore because they're behind. They're not behind, but they're trying to keep up with production. And now, of course, the COVID-19 thing. But I tend not to install other people's sabers for the simple fact that I don't like the way their sabers are set up. And some sabers are just a pain in the butt to install. We talked about the size differences and stuff when you were at the shop.
Right.
Not all sabers are made the same. Some are not very install friendly.
Right. And how many different varieties of sabers does Texas Custom Saber make?
Currently we have, I believe, 8 models that we make.
Okay. Now, could I go to a website and there's 8 different models, or do you guys do like we're doing a batch of 150 of these? If you want it, come get it.
That's exactly what we do. What
Okay.
I do is I finish the run completely before I take any money.
Okay.
And there's 2 reasons I do this. One, that way, as soon as you pay me, I'm shipping your saber out within a day or so. You're not waiting on it. 2, you know that you're not going to be waiting 9 months for me to finish the saber, and I'm not going to have to get your text messages every 5 seconds wondering where your saber is, because I'm either going to make your saber or I'm going to answer your text messages. I cannot do both.
Right. Now, would you say that your model, the way you do that, because I mean, obviously, I prefer that, and especially in this day and age, where everybody with Amazon, they expect to buy something and expect to have it at their house the next day, and you see some of these other companies, and people are complaining, I've been waiting 4 months for my saber. Do you find that there's fewer companies that kind of use your model? Do most companies use the model where they take your money and then you just got to sit and wait until it comes?
Yeah, I think most companies, that are having custom sabers, and again, like we do installations on a limited basis, and those do tend to take a little bit longer. But like empty hilts, we ship those out pretty fast. Like I won't put them up for sale until I have 50 Revens or 50 Star Killers, and they're ready to go, already wrapped up in bubble tape. The only time you'll have to wait is like if you want it powder coated, or you want like the switch holes drilled a certain different way or whatever. Then you'll have to wait a couple days for me to get it done. But it really all depends on what you're doing. If you're doing like custom one of work, you're gonna have to wait. It's just like
Right.
ordering a Ferrari. Right? When you order a Ferrari, that Ferrari is not going to be done that next day. All right, you're gonna
Right.
wait. You're gonna wait, 8, 9 months, a year until your Ferrari is done, because they custom build that thing for you. It's all hand stitched leather and all that good stuff. It's the same
Right.
thing. And some people are impatient. You and I talked about. I've had to refund people's money back because they wanted a Dimitri gold-plated crystal chamber for their Star Killer, and I have to order from Dimitri. He's in Russia,
Right.
and then it's going to take him a couple weeks to make it, and then a couple weeks to ship it from Russia to my house. And then this guy texts me the next day, wondering if that Dimitri crystal chamber was already at the house. I'm like, how is that even going to be possible?
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, as a consumer, I personally definitely prefer your model. I wish more of the saber companies would do it that way, the ready to sell sabers, because I feel like it makes it harder for some other companies. But the flip side of that is when they get their saber within a week, they're absolutely amazed that they got it so fast because they had other experiences. Do
A
have
lot of
Mhm.
a lot of companies
Sorry.
do like the grab bag sabers, but again, it's one of those things you don't know what you're going to get in the box.
Right. Do you personally have a favorite saber of the ones that you make?
Oh, yeah. If I would have to say my top 2 favorite sabers are going to be our Luke Hero and Darth Starkiller. That's probably my two favorite ones.
Your Luke hero, is that a ROTJ?
Yeah, that's the ROTJ Luke.
Beautiful. Now, does your company do you only make say character sabers, or do you make like designs that are completely your own?
No, we do have our own design. We have the Derelict and the Sovereign, which are our own designs. The Derelict is loosely based on what is it called? I'm trying to think. Alan is coming out with one right now. He teamed up with Sloth Furnace on that one, and I can't remember the name of the Sloth Furnace saber. But it's loosely based on that one. It's got a lot of cosmetic differences, so we don't step on their toes on that saber.
Right. And do you find that people what do people prefer? Do they like the character sabers, or they like original sabers? And then do you get a lot of requests for, like, somebody wants custom etching, or they want their saber to look like nobody else is on the planet? You get a lot of those?
I do get a lot of that. And you and I had talked about that when you were down at my shop. People have no idea how much machine time costs. Just because you can visualize something on a napkin doesn't mean that I'm going to be able to make that for you. Like, can I make it for you? Probably. Are you going to want to pay that price for it? No. Because machine time, depending on where you go, it varies in price. And machine time can run from anywhere from $75 to $150 an hour. And the same thing applies to me CNC or me CAD drawing something for you, because me taking your napkin drawing and trying to stick it into the side of my machine is not going to work. I have to literally take your design and put it into a CAD program, redraw it, and then send it to you. You have to approve it, and then send me the approval, and then I have to prototype machine it, and then finally do a finished product. And that's a lot of process. And if you're talking about you want only one, this thing could cost you a couple $1,000s real fast.
Wow. Now let me ask you, and you don't have to answer this if this is proprietary or anything. What's the most anybody's ever spent on a saber with you?
$13,000.
All the upgrades and gimmicks and stuff.
$13,000.
13,000.
13,000.
Wow. Holy. Now, did that saber do their dishes for them, or what? What was that?
It should have for what this guy wanted. It was a one of saber that had a removable crystal chamber. So you took the whole saber apart and slid the whole crystal chamber out. The crystal chamber was all gold plated. It had an actual real ruby as the crystal in there. It was incredible. And, the funny thing is, I don't even have pictures of the damn thing. I should have kept all the pictures. I ended up breaking or losing my phone. I lost my phone that I had all the pictures of that one on. Actually, right before I went on vacation in California a couple years ago, I was getting gas and I left my phone sitting at the gas station with all the pictures of that saber. But it was a beautiful saber. One of my favorite sabers still out is that Mamba. You and I talked about it, and that's another $13,000 saber.
Right. Now let me ask you: when you hit this guy with the price of 13,000, did he have a heart attack, or
No, he didn't even blink, because he knew exactly what he wanted. Like I said, it was all gold plated components, a real ruby removable core. I had to custom machine brass cases for the batteries to sit in, because he didn't want to see the battery. He didn't want to see any of the wiring. He wanted it all hidden. And so I used custom made wire looms to hide all the wires so you couldn't see anything. And this was an LED saber. It wasn't like NeoPixel. It wasn't anything. I built it. I believe it had a crystal focus 7.5 in it.
Right. Wow, that's absolutely amazing. And let me ask you why. Because I'm sure you see people that they want to spend $100 for a lightsaber, and then you have people that are willing to spend several thousand.
Yes.
What provokes somebody to want to spend that much money? I mean, $13,000. I could go get a car, man.
Yeah,
I can't drive my lightsaber.
That's a brand. That's a Honda Civic.
Right. So what do you think? I mean, what is it about having a saber that is $13,000? Why would somebody spend that much?
Well, I mean, when you have the guy that did this, he is a one of the biggest introverts I've ever met, and all he does is sit at home and do computer stuff. He does computer programming, he does IT stuff, he builds internet websites, and he never leaves his house. And he was like a huge Star Wars fan. I personally, I never met the guy. You know, I shipped that thing to him up in Montana, and like I triple double wrapped it, double insured that thing, sent it signature confirmation, yeah, the whole shebang bang. And you know, and like, and again, he wanted a picture of every day that I worked on that lightsaber. He wanted a picture of it. It was ridiculous.
Wow. But I mean, for a big one like that, I mean, I guess some are more worth it than others.
Yeah, for sure.
So, what do you see for the future of Texas Custom Sabers? Right now, we've been in the time of COVID, and I know that you're a professor. I don't know if that's if you're doing online classes or if this is giving you more time to concentrate on your sabers. Or
well, right now we're still trucking along. We're going to be doing a run of Star Killers here pretty soon. Once we get back to school. Right now we are teaching online. The first 2 weeks of class we're teaching online, and once we go back to school, I'll probably do another run of another run of Star Killers. And probably since I'm making Star Killers, we might as well just do a couple of derelicts and get those knocked out too.
Beautiful. Now, and where can people find your sabers? So I know I'm going to have to wait till your production line comes up, but where would I find that once it's ready?
Usually I'll post the production, the end of the production run on all pretty much every major forum. So if you're in the lightsaber exchange, or if you're in Vader's Vault, I think everybody's on Vader's Vault. I'll post it up on Vader's Vault for sure.
Okay, and then people just message you directly and say, "Hey, I need one of those."
Yep, exactly. That's the best way. It's been working that way for years. Alan and Deanna are really good about letting the smaller saber builders like myself, the limited run guys, post what we have, and so that's awesome of them.
Right. And that's another question with all of these, because Kyber Cave has been in business now just over 2.5 years, and in that time, I'm seeing a lot of other smaller sellers coming up. I'm seeing a lot of the resellers coming up. How do you keep your name relevant out there with all those other companies to compete with?
Well, the way we keep our name relevant, with everything else that's going on in the lightsaber world, is we just keep putting out an outstanding product. We do a limited run, and people see our lightsabers, and people post them online, and talk about them and everything, and they see how virtually indestructible our lightsabers are. I've never had a lightsaber broken. Never. I've never had one broken. Knock on wood. I have professional basketball players that have my lightsabers. I have professional football players that have my lightsabers. And if those big lunks can't break it, I don't think anybody else is going to be able to.
Right. And actually, I was looking on your page, and I saw a video. I guess it was Ray Parks was using one of your
he has a pair of my lightsabers. Yes, he does.
How does that feel to know that Ray Parks has your sabers?
That's pretty awesome. That was my friend tagged me on that. He's like, "Hey, Ray Parks has your lightsabers." And I was like, "What?" Yeah, I guess he bought them like on the DL and kind of sneaked by me. And good for him, because the last thing a celebrity wants to do is get blasted every 5 minutes. For pretty much free advertising. And good for him. I'm glad he enjoys them. We've made blasters before. Actually, what's his name? You would know him. I can't think of his name. He played Dredd. He was the guy that played Dredd.
Judge Dredd?
Yes.
Sylvester Stallone?
Not Sylvester Stallone. He played Dredd in the second Dredd movie.
Oh,
Carl Urban.
yeah. Okay. Okay.
So I was at the what does it say? Never broke a saber because he never had true nemesis to break saber battling yet. Hashtag dark side. I guess Kevin Hogan posted that. I don't know Kevin Hogan. I don't know Kevin Hogan. I think my lightsabers would pretty much cut through any lightsaber material on the market right now like butter. But you want to take that Pepsi challenge anytime. Carl Urban, actually, I ran into him at the Dallas Comic Con, and I didn't know that he followed me on Instagram and on Facebook. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. Well, I have a couple people, famous people that follow me, but I didn't know Carl Urban was one of them. And so I had posted I'm going to have, a couple DL44s at the Comic Con. And so he walks up, and I had, the two sitting out that I was selling, and then I had my personal one. My personal one sitting kind of closer to me, that one that I was using the demo, and he walks up and he goes, is that the one is that your personal one? The one that I saw on Facebook? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, how much is that one? And I was like, well, that one's not for sale. And he goes, well, that's the one I want. And I was like, all right, $1,400. And he goes, okay. And his little cute little assistant, little redhead assistant, pulls out his credit card and said Carl Urban on it. I was like, holy crap, it's Carl. I didn't recognize him at first because he had like a beard, and because I'm used to him without the beard, and I was like, oh my God, it's Carl Urban. I was like, and he took it and he played with it all day. He actually ran the battery down on it. And he came back and he's like, how do you charge this thing? I was like, the charge port on the back side. He goes, oh yeah, there it is. He plugged it in. He had the best time with it all day long. And then of course, if you look on my Facebook page, you'll see me. I gotten into a giant dueling battle with Jason Mewes at the San Antonio Comic Con. Yeah, he tried to take my head off. It was so fun though.
Nice. So hey, we got a question down here. It's saying, what do you think about the Rose Tico Saber project? Are you familiar with the Rose Tico Saber project?
No, I am not. Is that the one that they made an actual saber? I'm not sure what that one is.
Yeah, so the Rose Tico, Kelly Tran was the actress in Rise of Skywalker and Force Awakens and all that.
Right.
She got bullied online because of her character. And they this was headed up by Kang Snow out of Lightspeed, but they got together with some other makers and they made a saber specifically for her to show her that not all of the Star Wars fan base is toxic. Gary Ripper is actually making a blade for that one as well, a special one blade.
Nice. I know Gary. Gary makes great blades. Actually, I got to order some blades from him later on this week because I have a bunch of dark sabers that I'm doing NeoPixel installs. So I'm going to put the Gary Ripper NeoPixel blade on mine so they look extra.
Yeah. That's going to look fantastic.
So yeah, Gary Ripper. I've known him for a while. I've known him from the beginning. I was one of the guys that jumped all over that one dude who was stealing his technique of making lightsaber blades.
Right.
Yeah, it's one of those things like we all know that Gary makes them. Don't copy his design and try to undersell them. That's not cool.
Right.
But, I do not like online bullying. I don't care what you thought about the person's acting skill. She's or the person's character. It's a character. We need to get over it. To me, it's the same. It's the same as that racist guy that shot himself over the black stormtrooper because there's no black people in Star Wars. Right. It's ridiculous. I was like, there's no black people in Star Wars. Did you not see the original trilogy with Mr. Right with Lando Calrissian? I'm pretty sure Lando Calrissian is black.
Right.
So, yeah, they always say like Star Wars would be great if it wasn't for Star Wars fans, and they're talking about fans like that just that they cyberbullied this poor actress to the point that she had to shut down her Instagram account.
Exactly. Yeah, so that's what that whole project was. That they were building a special saber specifically for her for that. Hey, we're coming to the end of our little segment, Ray. You survived, man. You got anything you want to let people know in closing, or how can they reach you? How can they see some of your work?
Well, we're going to be coming up with with a new run of sabers. You'll be able to check them out on either the Vader's Vault Facebook page or the Saber Exchange Facebook page, or pretty much any of the major Facebook pages that I'm on. I'm pretty much, I don't think there's one that I'm not on, except the one whose name shall not be mentioned. Because he's banned, right? Because I think he banned me on like my second day of being on that page because I questioned his integrity or whatever. Right. That dude's a jackhole.
But if it makes you feel any better, when I talked to him, he laughed at me when I told him I had a store in Fairfield.
No, there you go. That just shows the character of person he is. Yeah. Someone laughed about my Lando reference, but it's true. Come on, man. We know. Like how can you be like, well, there's no black people in Star Wars? Lando Calrissian.
Right.
Mr. Smooth as hell space cape guy. Come on, y'all.
Yeah. So anyway, and the guy that carries the ice cream maker in Empire.
Exactly. Yeah. So it was a great seeing you again. Thank you very much for the interview. You guys are great. Star Wars fans are great. I love everything Star Wars. I'm actually wearing a Star Wars shirt, and I'm watching Star Wars on TV right now. So it's one of those things that we have to keep this going. We have the Mandalorian now. Great show. They need to just have Jon Favreau just do everything Star Wars from now on. And I don't know if you noticed, but the director of El Mariachi actually directed a couple of the Mandalorian episodes.
Rodriguez.
Yes, Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah. Oh, so cool. And I know I'm here in Northern California. Dave Filoni lives somewhere around here. I'm gonna find him.
Right. They just need to. You know what? They need to do a trilogy where Dave Filoni does one, Jon Favreau does the other one, and Robert Rodriguez does the third one. And that would be the best. I should be a casting director and like a producer, like okay, you're going to do it this way. Because we need to get Star Wars back on track. I'm not saying the last 3 movies were terrible. I enjoyed them, but a lot of people did not. But again, that's just because the movie was not what you thought it was going to be. Does not give you the right to cyberbully people. That's not cool. That's not cool at all.
Right. Well, I feel like Filoni and Favreau are bringing the fan base back together. We're all coming back as one big happy family.
Exactly.
Ray, I want to thank you again for everybody watching. Please check out Texas Custom Sabers. They're all over the internet. You can Google them. Ray is a fantastic guy, and you're going to get a quality, virtually indestructible product. When the atom bomb drops, there'll be cockroaches and Texas Custom Sabers. That's all that's going to be left.
You got it. Hey, thank you very much, and hope to see you actually probably in a couple of weeks to come get that giant, 6,000-pound machine out of my shop.
I will be there. Believe me, I haven't forgot.
You have a good one, brother. Appreciate it.
All right, easy. Thanks, Ray. All right. Hey.
Oh, I got the child with me.
You got the child.
And that's actually I actually have something for everybody that's related to this next segment that we have. All about cosplay and all that stuff.
Yes.
As a cosplayer myself, I enjoy it myself.
Right.
It's this one TikTok I kept talking to you about, the one that I've been addicted to all day.
Okay. Well, roll that film, and then we're going to get into our next interview.
All right. Sasha Banks, here he goes. No, not just playing.
Oh, Sasha Banks.
I'm just playing.
No getting out of the cart this time. No. I'll stay right there. Kid. Come on, kid. Oh, not again.
Nice. Hey, do you think that guy worked at that grocery store? That store was suspiciously empty.
Maybe.
He was
Maybe he
probably
did, maybe he didn't.
after night from work. He's like, "Hey, dude, I gotta film this, man. Can I borrow the store?"
I wish.
Hey, well, we are running a little bit behind schedule. That was my fault. I was having so much fun with Ray. I want to go ahead and get into our new segment. Do we have our host and our guest backstage?
Both of them, yes.
We do. So, with no further ado, let's pass it over to our fantastic host for the cosplay of the day, Miss Veronica Dempsey.
All right.
Hey, that TikTok was the greatest, actually.
Gotta love TikTok. I thought TikTok was gonna be gone, but it's still around.
You know, me too, and I'm kind of relieved because there's a lot of Star Wars cosplayers and fans on TikTok. So yeah.
Oh yeah, so many, and so many incredible costumes. Miss Veronica, I am very excited about the guest that you have tonight because he is a Kyber Cave regular here. But not only is he a Kyber Cave regular, this man is known like throughout Northern California. He goes to so many cons. Everybody knows this guy. Tell us who we have tonight.
We have Kevin Hogan. He's a bit of a cosplay celebrity, actually, as he was saying. You might say our cosplay of the day is the Cat's Meow. He can tell you all about how to cosplay on any budget. Please welcome Kevin Hogan.
Hello.
Hello.
I got my lightsaber from Kyber Cave, all ready to battle those giant Texas roaches when the bombs drop in the apocalypse.
I hear that you quite enjoy Kyber Cave. I haven't been there myself yet, but I've seen some of the videos of you taking names.
Oh yeah, it's an awesome place there, and they have really everything you need. I mean, you can borrow a saber there. You can customize your own. Like this one's not just a regular saber; it's actually a pike. I don't know if you can see the length really great on the screen there. It's about 6 feet long, and they even customize it with all the different paint jobs you want. Like I got a wood and leaf pattern one there, so it looks kind of like a wilderness kind of staff, walking staff kind of thing there. So there's all sorts of combinations Kyber Cave has, and also I mean safety is of course a huge thing. They've even got those fencing masks you've probably seen with kendo and other sword fighting. You can actually customize it. So I've got my little Mao from Cartoon Network, a smiling cat face on it there, and got some nice little ears behind him there. Gotta keep it fuzzy.
You gotta do that protection. We try and
you gotta stay safe there.
stress the protection. And going into Mao, you want to talk a little bit about your cosplay, what you cosplay, because you do more than one character.
Oh yeah, there's tons of cosplays out there, and I know it can be discouraging if you look on different things for this is a movie replica stormtrooper suit for over $1,000 or something like that. But there's lots of stuff out there you can do. It's really economical. Just going to the Halloween store in Walmart, you can get these Maskimals, so you can make all sorts of kind of furry characters like that. And I kind of copied Mao, the ninja cat from Cartoon Network show there. And you can do also, don't be afraid to do mashups either. You can put little funny hats on and make it a Cat in the Hat references. You can add on a blue wig to any cosplay design and say you're a multiverse of the Rick and Morty show. So there's all sorts of different ideas out there. And just to give you an idea, if you're in a hurry and you run out of ideas, if you're a fan of the show Disenchantment from Netflix, just using a cardboard box and some paint, I made Lucy the cat demon from the show there. And if you want Spider-Man, but maybe you're big and tall like me and you can't fit into all the spandex there, you can head on down to Home Depot, and with just a backpack and some bendable rain gutters and some ring clamps and cardboard, you can make all the claws from Dr. Octopus. They're these are just cardboard with some shiny paper already glued to them there, some ring clamps holding them on, and just bendable rain gutters that you can hold on with shoestrings, kind of like you're wearing a giant puppet almost, as it were. So you just gotta be creative.
What exactly got you into cosplay? Because you seem to really enjoy doing cosplay on a budget. What kind of got you into it?
Oh, it's really the atmosphere. There's so many happy and fun people there. Like everyone's always interested in so many different things there. It's not like when you think of like the old coverage of like Comic Cons, you think of only Star Wars or only Star Trek, but really there's like every fandom you can think of is there. Like you'll see Doctor Who fans, you'll see fans from Back to the Future. Got me a little hoverboard back there. Yeah, that's a really easy $9 cosplay. The rest is just a red vest you can find at any store at the mall. But yeah, it's so many. There's a lot of camaraderie there. Lots of great people to hang out with. So don't be discouraged if you like just don't know anyone. Like you don't have to have like a big group of people to go with. You can go there and make friends there, especially if you want to take a break from social media and actually see some people in person.
That Lucy, has he gotten a spin yet at the Comic Cons?
Oh no, I literally made him this week. Like it's just like just to give an idea, like a 1-day cosplay. Like you could literally make it in less than a day. If you got a box and some paint, that's all you need. It's just a can-do attitude. Now, if you've got some more,
sorry, go ahead.
If you've got extra skills, like if you actually know how to sew or like can craft like armor out of EVA foam with some heating torches, like then you can be a little more creative and make your own Mandalorian and other cosplays a little more creative. But these are some real basic, like if you just like, I need something this week, I don't really have a lot of funds to blow.
How long do you often spend on your budget budget builds?
Oh, I think my most expensive is probably my Mau Mau cosplay. Like overall, it's about $100. Like between like the $40 Maskimal head is probably the most expensive component, and then just like getting some little like $10 cat mittens from the Halloween stores and Party America stores like that. So just a little this and that, like. And don't, I want to emphasize now, in the movie Incredibles by Disney Pixar, they said capes are a bad idea. That's the opposite when there's cosplay on a budget to be had. Because if you can't afford like the middle section or like maybe the suit that your character wears, like say you want to be Doctor Doom and you have just the helmet, but you don't have the belt and the shirt and stuff, just wear a cape and that kind of hides everything else. Just let everyone else's imagination fill in the rest.
Your Mau Mau, actually, I've noticed that you're versatile with him. How many types of Mau Mau have you had?
Oh yeah,
I've seen.
Oh yeah, I try to mash up a whole bunch. I have I combined my Marty McFly with my little cat character, so it can make it like, hey, do you remember the time traveling turned everyone into furries? No, exactly. Yeah, so I've attached some like a blue cardboard triangles to the back to make him like a Rick and Morty mashup, like he's from the furry universe. Yeah, obviously I just put like the red kind of cloak that he wears and carries a sword like the Mau Mau from the cartoon show. And so yeah, that's the fun thing is like don't be afraid of mashups because people really get a kick out of it. We've seen Mandalorians in particular from like made out of like Pizza Hut boxes. We've seen Mandalorians with the SF Giants logos all over them. So there's so many variations. Like, don't be discouraged. People will really get a kick out of it, especially if they're a big fan of those two fandoms you put together.
That's definitely the way, right?
Oh, yeah, exactly. If you're looking for also, like, if you're worried about the admission prices, it can be discouraging when you see the bigger cons like San Diego or especially BlizzCon in Anaheim where they want like $200 admission. There are a lot of very economical events, especially around Northern California. Ohana Comic Con, for example, they put on events almost every other weekend for usually only like $5 to $10 admission. SAC Anime, they're usually like $25 for the whole weekend if you buy it ahead of time. And there's a bunch of others out there, just not to go into, but usually they range in the $10 to $30 range. So don't be discouraged. Like check out these websites. Like if you can't go to the biggest Comic Con, I guarantee you there are others around your area. Just keep browsing for them.
In fact, that's a good time to mention that we actually have our con hopefully coming up at Kyber Cave for anyone who is around us. And Robert has a question. Any advice for people who have made cosplays but aren't confident enough to wear them?
Like honestly, maybe just like I would always recommend doing a practice run, just walking around your house. That's always a great idea there. I've always found at the last minute too many times that it's hard to keep a hat balanced on top of this guy when you can't actually feel your own head that's almost a foot higher than your real head. So,
You're right.
Always do
Cat
it.
in the Hat.
Oh yeah. It's a pretty spacious on the inside, so got a bit of gap there. So you're kind of doing a balancing act there. Yeah, so, like, don't be discouraged. There's a lot of people that are very friendly out there, and so as I say, just go for it, and you'll have a great time.
How did you? Actually, I'm kind of curious because I've seen your. You had a Rick and Morty one. How did you manage that?
Oh yeah, well I just went to like a normal like a college lab supply store and got one of those generic lab doctor type coats there. Just wear a blue T-shirt with it, just like Rick. And then I just took some black blue cardboard construction paper and just pinned it to the back of this guy. So what's really convenient that a lot of fursuits are made of just like foam like this, and so they're essentially that can be made into giant pin cushions. So you can attach all sorts of accessories to them if you want. So if I really want to, I could actually give this guy some eyebrows, like a giant Mr. Potato Head you've seen. Like now he's like an angry character, or if he has a character with a funny kind of wig, like Rick is just a bunch of triangles. That's his hair.
Any future versions of Mamba that you're planning?
Well, I'm still debating some different stuff. There's tons of different cat-themed characters out there, but I'm also debating on what would be a funny mashup to do there. Maybe throw on a big red scarf and be a Doctor Who time-traveling cat, or we'll see what comes up.
In fact, Doctor Who does have cats in there, so maybe like the sisters. Yeah.
Exactly.
Besides Memo, any cosplays that you really want to do in the future?
Well, I haven't done one in a long time, but I've always liked to bring back my Charlie Brown cosplay because I have really short hair. But yeah, that's another great one. If you're not sure and you just like, maybe it's your first time going to a con, just throw on a yellow shirt, take some black electrical tape, and just make a zigzag pattern around your shirt. Pick up a couple of little plushies from Etsy.com or a local gift shop, and there you go. So maybe a good idea would be just start with something simple like a Marty McFly or a Charlie Brown, or just a real easy, comfortable cosplay. And then if you have fun, then maybe try something a little more cumbersome. It can be hard to walk around all day in some of the bigger stuff like the fursuits that get really overheated, or the Dr. Octopus ones that makes it hard to fit through the door unless I walk sideways sometimes.
I'll ask, what was your first attempt at cosplay? Like your very first one?
Oh, very first one. That was a Marty McFly. I didn't have the rainbow hat from the sequel, or even the hoverboard there. All I had was just the vest and a button-up shirt. It's just like, people will get it, and you'd be surprised they did.
And you travel with some of the because we had someone last week that travels with OhanaCon, and you also travel with the cons.
Oh yeah, there's so many. I live right here in the Bay Area by Benicia, and there are so many within driving distance. You wouldn't believe it. OhanaCon, as you know, goes to all sorts of cities, like Fairfield, Vallejo. You could go down to Fresno and everything in between. There's slightly bigger cons that I'm sure a lot of people have heard of. The Crunchyroll at the San Jose Convention Center. SAC Anime likes to go to Cal Expo and the Sacramento Convention Center. Even Stockton Con over at the Stockton Arena. For those of you, it's only just, all these things are less than a 3-hour drive around. And so they're all very accessible within the Bay Area. I mean, now it makes it a little easier because if you have a friend who can give you a lift, or if you want to take an Uber to get from that BART station, only a couple are actually at the local convention center. But yeah, if you have a means to get around the Bay Area, you can go to all sorts of them.
I'll, if anyone has any other questions before we stop, but is there any other suggestions? Oh, what do you think of the challenges? So there are groups that have like a challenge. There's a lightsaber challenge where they go into Home Depot, and I'm sure you're familiar with Home Depot.
Yeah.
They have the lightsaber challenges where they do Comic-Con level stuff. They're preparing to do a Comic-Con, and they do something similar to you. What do you think of those groups? Have you ever followed them?
Oh, I've only seen little bits here and there, but yeah, I say go for it. I mean, like, yeah, like try to. There's all sorts of stuff. You don't have to have an actual costume store near you. Like, you can craft stuff at all sorts of places. Like I said, I made the Doctor Octopus costume out of all Home Depot supplies there. You can make this little like Lucy demon cat out of just a cardboard box and paint at an Ace Hardware store. So there's stuff all over the place. A lot of times what really sparks your interest is just explore stores, especially things like Party City, Spencer's, like any random wacky type of like toy stores. Sometimes if you just see that one prop that you wouldn't sure how to make, you can do the rest of yourself. Because like, like back, just to use example, like Barney McFly, oh, they make the hoverboard on this website at Halloween.com. That's easy. So then I can just find the red vest anywhere that goes with it.
Thank you for joining us. That's about all the time we've got, but thank you. And hopefully we see you around the Comic-Cons when life goes back to normal.
I just want to say, am I all dark? Am I
you
dark?
are.
Oh my goodness. They're doing saber battles in the. Oh, whoa. I'm back again. It's all dark in here because they're doing saber battles. Why did I just go out again? That's so weird.
He's joined the dark.
He's trapped in there.
Right there. I want to say time traveling furries, dude. That is my. If I ever do it, that is the name of the person. Time traveling furries.
Oh yeah.
and how can people, if people wanted to see your costumes, or if they want to get a hold of you and ask you, how can they get a hold?
I think he's trying to ask if they want to get a hold of you or see you at a con, or contact you. What's the best way?
Oh, I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. There's pretty much conveniently there's only 2 Kevin Hogans in the Facebook universe, and I'm not the quarterback from Stanford, so I'm the other Kevin Hogan. Pretty easy to find. But yeah, feel free to shoot me a message on Facebook or Instagram. I'm pretty much going to all the events around there, and not even just the cosplay events. There's stuff that's related, like the Charles Dickens Christmas Festival in Daly City, the Vallejo Pirate Festival. Reading has the Rust Fest, like Apocalypse Fallout themed event. So there's stuff that isn't Comic-Cons that's fun to go to.
Excellent. Well, I'm sure people are going to be looking out for you. I'm going to pass the park right now.
Fortunately, I think we're having some audio trouble. He's far from us.
Huh?
You've joined the dark side. We can't. You're too far from us. You've gone down a path.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
So, Veronica, thank you so much for a fantastic interview. Kevin, thank you so much for being on the show. Flannel, go ahead and drop them out. There you go. I want to thank everybody for tuning in this week. Robert, Chris, everybody online has been fantastic. We will be here again next week. We're here every time. So if you can come down and it's only $5 and those. So thank you for tuning in.
What? I'm sorry.
You got anything to say before we're out?
I just gotta say thank you guys so much for watching, and next week will be my last. It's not my last Saber Rattle, but my last Saber Rattle for like two weeks before I go on location.
Yes, you will be on vacation, and we will miss you very much. I'm gonna have you talk to Veronica while you're on vacation. So,
all right.
For everybody out there in internet land, thank you so much for tuning in. We are at Kyber Cave, 915 Texas Street in Fairfield, California. Come on down and hang out with us. Peace.